But why are we saying African Liberation Day and not Africa Day? Why are we saying that? It's because we insist about the political aspect of this day. To insist that this is not simply a day to celebrate our cultures, to talk about our food, our cuisine, to talk about our languages, without talking about the political tasks that lie ahead for we the African people, the liberation that we still have to complete, right? This year marks the 62nd annual commemoration of African Liberation Day. We see that this comes from the day on 25th of May 1963, where African heads of state convened to found the Organization of African Unity. The day was subsequently renamed African Liberation Day from Africa Freedom Day. Right from the start, therefore, the fundamental idea behind the commemoration of this day remained African freedom and liberation. Freedom from what? Freedom from imperialism, freedom from capitalism, freedom from patriarchy, freedom from oppression, freedom from exploitation, freedom from all sorts of injustice, all sorts of prejudice, all sorts of exploitation generally that take place in the society. Tukiangalia situation yetu right now in our country as Kenyans, we are saying freedom from kasongo, freedom from corruption, freedom from everything that the regime and the ruling elite does in order to keep us oppressed and exploited. African Liberation Day is not Africa Day as lessened by the African Union. ALD cannot be reduced to commemorating the founding of the OAU in 1963, nor a day to showcase African fabrics, African cuisine, etc. The basis of Africa Day seems to emanate from the idea that since all African countries had already gained their independence from European colonial powers, the agenda and goal should now shift from the previous political agitations to a vision for an integrated, prosperous, and peaceful Africa. The theme that we've talked about today represents the tasks that lie ahead. We're looking back at the gains that generations of African freedom fighters have made. We see that a flag and a president do not make you sovereign. African countries are independent, but how independent are they? Independent only in quotes, right? We see that they are not free. So when you omit the name liberation from this day, you obscure that fact. We must mention that we are yet to achieve full sovereignty and full liberation, and that still there is work to be done. From the very beginning, in this regard, the people of Africa were fully aware of the tasks that befall them as a continent in their struggle for a brighter future. In this struggle, the people of Africa fully recognized that an end to their exploitation meant an end to their oppression. That economic freedom would require political freedom. By commemorating Africa Liberation Day, the African people get to lay bare the tasks at hand by looking at the journey covered so far. They get the opportunity to once again remind themselves that they are still not truly free, that liberation remains their primary goal, and that through this, they get to emphasize that the day is about the political ends they seek to achieve and not a celebration of the status quo as the ruling class seems or seeks to make it. We celebrate and salute the hard-fought struggle waged by African liberation heroes and heroines in the struggle for freedom and independence from colonial powers. Down with imperialism, down! Down! Africans honor those who continue the struggle against capitalist, imperialist, and colonial powers. And we call upon all African people to continue waging this struggle to its logical conclusion. Viva comrades, viva!
Viva!
Afrika moja,
Afrika huru!
Thank you so much.
Mathare and then Kongamano.
Afrika moja, Afrika huru! Afrika huru! Afrika ya kitama!
And there are people who are not talking at the back. Afrika moja,
Afrika huru!
Afrika huru.
Afrika ya kitama!
For sure, for us who call or identify ourselves as Africans, ndio tunafuraha sana kujumuika sote pamoja, and today more than sika hizo zingine kwamba tumejumuika na ndugu yetu Vitali, Mwafrika mwenzetu, our comrades who have left. So we are really happy to have your comrades. Ndio. So I'm Jerry Mwangi from Mathare Social Justice Center and the Social Justice Movement. From Mathare Social Justice Center, we will, as we give our solidarity statement, we will also want to echo a statement from a consortium that we are part of, that is Pan-African Today. So today more than ever, we want to celebrate the gains that we have made so far. Right now, that even in this country, we have a revived hope. More so with the Gen Z uprising that we saw last year, that people are rising up to take back their power, and these are young people from this country. We need to come together and make sure we consolidate all the gains that we have made as the social justice movement, as the progressive organizations from this country, to make sure we take Africa and our countries from where they are now to the next level. More so now that we face threats with different head of states. We have seen what has been happening in this country with Ruto. We have seen what Suluhu, tumesema si Suluhu, tumesema ni matatizo, is doing in Tanzania. We have seen what Museveni has been doing to Uganda. And right now, more than ever, wakati tunashangilia human rights in different spaces, we should not allow these rights to be taken back, that people are not being allowed to express themselves, and people are not allowed even to give each other solidarity when being oppressed by this head of state. African people also, as we are trying to build people-centered Pan-Africanism, we need to be in solidarity with each other, and we need to show each other that it's the people who can bring about change. People power.